Hello, my name's Kerry, and today we're going to be making a Turkish Map fold book using recycled materials that you can find around the house. Tools that you'll need today are a pencil, a ruler, scissors, a craft knife, some glue, and a bone folder if you have one. The materials you're going to need are 6 A4 sheets of paper, a large piece of covering paper or book cloth, and a large piece of lining paper, and some grey board or cardboard. Some good cardboard that you might find around the house is cereal boxes. So we're going to start our book by learning the Turkish map fold. Grab your first bit of A4 paper and fold it in half lengthways. Use your finger or bone folder to really crease that fold. Next, we want to find the center of our folded piece of paper. To do that, we're going to fold it over again gently without making a crease, and instead we'll just pinch the top so that we have a center point in our folded piece of paper. Take the top two corners and pull them down to the center point that you made. Once you've got them even, make sure that you really crease the fold with your finger or bone folder. Now you should have a folded structure like this. Now we're going to try our origami skills and invert the folds. Open up the corners and gently invert the fold. Hopefully the nice deep crease you made earlier means that the paper will naturally follow the line. This bit can be a bit fiddly, so just take your time. Do this on both corners. We want to find another center point like we did before. So carefully fold your triangle paper in half and pinch the bottom to find the center. Unfold it again, and now we're going to bring in the two straight edges to that center point. Again, this part can get a little bit fiddly, making sure the folds are even. Once you're happy, crease the folds with your finger or bone folder and turn the paper over to repeat on the other side. This side is a bit easier as we can just line the two straight edges up with the folds we just made. Again, once you're happy with your folds, use your finger or bone folder to crease. We have another fiddly bit coming up. As we did earlier, we're going to invert the folds we just made. Unfold one at the edges and apply a little bit of pressure to the folded paper, and it should pop into place following along the crease. Take your time and don't get too worried if it doesn't work straight away. Do this to all 4 of your folded sections. If you need to, pause the video and rewind. You've completed the Turkish map fold. You should have something that looks a bit like this. To make the book, we need to make 5 more Turkish map fold pages. Pause or rewind the video here whilst you make the remaining 5 pages. Now it's time to glue our pages together. Grab a bit of scrap paper and your glue and place the first folded page down. Hold the page carefully with one hand whilst you apply glue from the center spreading outwards. We always apply glue from the center outwards so that the inside doesn't get stuck together. Make sure that you get an even coat across the paper. Next, we need to grab the second page and carefully align it with the first. I find it useful to stick them point to point first and then slowly match the diagonal edges. Once you're happy with the placement, press the 2 pages together. Repeat this process with the remaining pages, carefully gluing and pressing each one on top of the other. Once all your pages are glued together, remove the scrap paper and place the pages under a weight. Leave the pages to dry for 10 or 15 minutes. Once you're ready, carefully open the pages. Some glue might have snuck in, so we want to be careful when opening it. Next, we're going to make a cover for our book. We start by measuring the width and the height. Bear in mind that our book is landscape, so the width is going to be larger than the height. Measure from the point to the foredge, and then from the head to the tail. Make a note of these measurements in millimeters. To find the size of the boards for the cover, we add 8 millimeters to the height and -3 from the width. Grab your grey board or cardboard and mark out 2 pieces using the measurements you just made. Once you've marked out the covers, use a craft knife to slowly and repeatedly cut down the lines. We never try and cut right through the grey board in one go, as this usually results in a very squinty edge and potentially sore fingers. I've sped up my video here just so that you don't need to watch me slowly cut board. Now we need to cover our boards. To find the size of your covering material, you place the 2 boards side by side with a 20mm gap in the middle, and then add 20mm around all 4 edges. We're going to draw around our covers so that we know where to place them once we've applied the glue. Draw around the first board and then measure a 20mm gap between it and the second board. Draw around the second board and make sure that it's in line with the first one. We want them to be nice and straight. We're going to be cutting the corners off our covering material once the boards are stuck down. To make sure we don't cut too much off, grab the second board and place it at a 45-degree angle on the outer corners of the first board. Draw a line on the outside of the board and repeat all the way around. Make sure you have some scrap paper down and grab your glue. Like with our pages, we're going to glue the whole of the cover going from the centre outwards. This is a good habit to get into as it stops the glue getting places we don't want it to go. Grab your boards and place them into the marked out areas. Press firmly so that there are no air bubbles. This next bit is a bit tricky. We're going to cut the corners off the cover. Get rid of your scrap paper so that we don't accidentally get glue on our cover. Using the lines you drew earlier as a guide, cut on the outside of that line, the one furthest away from the edge of the boards. Do this for all 4 corners. Now we're going to turn our cover in. Always start on the long edges. Using your fingers, gently fold your covering material onto the board. Take your time doing this as you don't want to get any glue on the front of your cover. Repeat this for both long edges. At the short edges, we need to tuck in some of the material so that we don't get pointy ears on the corners. Gently use your fingers to do this as shown. Using your fingers or a bone folder, carefully rub down the edges to make sure they are stuck properly. Do this at the spine, but be very careful if you use paper for your cover that you don't go through and make a hole. Turn your cover over and carefully run a finger or a bone folder down the edges of the spine to define it. Now we need to measure the paper for the lining. The easiest way to do this is by measuring the cover and subtracting 6mm from the height, but leave the length as it is. This is because when we add glue to the paper, it tends to shrink. Once again, we're going to cover the paper in glue, starting from the centre outwards. Once you've applied enough glue, we're going to carefully line up with the cover. You want to have a square edge so the lining is centred. Stick this end down whilst holding the rest of the paper up. Slowly lower the paper until you get to the spine, and using your finger to work the paper into the gutter. Once you've done this, you can lower the rest of the paper down. You might have a bit of excess paper like me, but don't worry, we'll deal with that in a minute. Use the side of your hand or a bone folder to rub the lining into the cover, making sure there are no wrinkles or air pockets. Carefully work into the gutter to make sure the lining is stuck. If your lining is too long, gently fold it back on itself so that you have another square edge. Grab your ruler and place it at the fold, and using a craft knife, cut off the excess paper. Now we're ready to case our book in. Place your book on the cover with the point facing the spine. Using the 3 straight edges, make sure you can see an even amount of cover around them. Hold your book with one hand and grab your glue. Once again, apply a good amount of glue, starting at the center and working your way outwards. Once the book is covered in glue, gently pick up one side of the cover and let it fall into place. Do not press down, but instead flip the book over and check that your book is still in the right place, with the 3 straight edges showing an even amount of cover around them. If it's not in the right place, you can gently squish the book back into place. Glue up the other side and again pick up the cover and let it fall into place. Once you're happy with the positioning, place your book under a weight to dry. Let the book rest for 15 minutes, and when you're ready, take the weight off and check your finished Turkish Map fold book. This is a great structure for artists and writers. This fold invites the maker to hide secrets and hidden messages throughout. I hope you enjoyed learning this book. If you'd like to see more bindings, head over to my Instagram @toughtea or my website www.kerrydouglas.co.uk.